Hey there, Adam here at the Design Lab. Blip, blip, blip. That's the sound of the lab. Today I'm looking at this graphic illustrated version of On Tyranny. I saw that the regular edition, which doesn't have pictures, was kind of trending or something. And I had never read it, so I thought I'll look at this graphic one, which is not quite a graphic novel. Let's take a look inside of it and see what it is. It's basically the original text, I believe, which it's not a long book. It's like the print version's like about the same thing, like 130 pages. This one just has like a bunch of pictures along with it, and I really hesitate to call it a graphic novel. It's not a graphic novel. There's basically just pictures and probably the exact same information that you're going to find in the book. So in that sense, I don't know if, I mean, I guess if pictures help you kind of get the ideas, but I don't know if they really, to be honest, I don't know if it really offers a lot that makes this like essential to reading it. You know, you could probably read the audio or listen to the audiobook or read the regular edition, and it probably would be almost the exact same experience. So I was kind of a little underwhelmed by the book. I feel like it came out originally in 2017 after Trump first got into office, and it's kind of amusing how they refer to Trump. They never refer to him as Trump. They just refer to him as a certain president or something. He never actually says the word Trump, I don't think, in the whole book. But there's in the illustrated edition, there's clearly there's things like this where it's obviously Trump, so you can't really get away from it. And I think this came out in 2021, this illustrated edition, and maybe there were just some minor inclusions. This looks very much like George Orwell's Animal Farm. Speaking of Animal Farm and George Orwell, I have at least 3 Orwell-related graphic novels that I should look at soon. I should just look at all these like anti-authoritarian, now that we're entering this neo-fascist, neo-McCarthy era. We're in such a conservative era that I don't think people can even see it. Like, I feel like from the outside of it, I don't know, it's just like people can't see it, how conformist and how, I blame a lot of it on programming and programming culture. Even though I'm learning programming, I feel like that has infected our own culture in a lot of ways, making things very simple binaries. But anyways, back to On Tyranny. So I wasn't too blown away by this book. It also felt like it was a little much preaching to the choir. I feel like if a Republican in 2017 had picked this up, I'm always looking at ways that they, like can scare people off. And I feel like that right away, he basically scares them off. And I feel like you need to do things more subtly and kind of like get them to the end and realize that, that they'll see it of their own accord rather than having it shoved in their face. So I felt like this was sometimes a little not as smooth or as cunning as it could have been. I like a little more subtle. This is probably the closest thing to a graphic novel this gets. So the art was good. I feel like the art was functional and pretty, but it's just like, it wasn't a graphic novel. It's just text. I feel like the author, Timothy Snyder, had basically nothing to do with this book. Basically, they just handed him this. So here, this is obviously Trump too. I mean, so things like that. I want to try and find a reference of where he refers to the president. He says like a certain president. I don't know if that's like because in 100 years people are not going to know who Trump was. I have no idea. It'd be fascinating to go 100 years in the future. Oh, here it is. In 2017, the American president averaged 6 lies a day. It's like, who was the American president in 2017? I'll have to look that up. I'd be fascinating to know, like, yeah, in 100 years, if we're still alive. Not us, but, if humanity is still alive. So a lot of the ideas seem kind of obvious, or make eye contact and small talk. Yeah, obviously, yeah. But I feel like people that aren't going to be doing anything different. There are some suggestions in this, I feel like, that establish a private life. I mean, it's just basically the kind of the stuff you've heard over and over, and contribute to good causes. That just seems so, I don't know, generic and unclear. Don't get me wrong. By the way, I'm like totally against, Trump and against. I'm on the side of progressive politics, but um, I just feel like sometimes things don't make sense, and like I feel like the left is always like devouring itself and like criticizing itself in its insecurity about what to do and how to act and over analyzing everything. Um, be a patriot. That's just so generic. And he does define what he goes on this long thing about. I mean, it's obviously Trump he's talking about. It is not patriotic to dodge the draft and mock war heroes and their families. It's like no shit. And it's like all of this is talking about Trump, obviously. And it's like okay. So in that sense, like, and then it ends with an epilogue. So I guess I'd like to read. I would actually be interested in reading one of his books. I think he has one book that came out talking a little. I mean, he's very critical of both communism and fascism. He's not talking about going to either extreme. And so I would like to read one of his more in-depth history books, and so I may give him a try in the future. But I'm just saying, overall, this book, this graphic adaptation of On Tyranny didn't wow me, didn't impress me, and I wouldn't say it's like a book that you need to read. I was a little overwhelmed, but I guess maybe it's aimed at like middle school and high school students or something. I really have no idea who this book is aimed at, but I was not blown away. But what do you guys think? If you've read it, please let me know in the comments below, and stay tuned for another episode of Design Lab coming soon.